When there's boredom in sitting meditation, meaning watching rising, falling only, how can yogis strengthen the mind towards this attitude of mind? Huh? When there is boredom in sitting meditation, meaning watching the rising and falling only, how can the yogi strengthen the mind towards this attitude of mind? We talk about boredom also. We talk about boredom. When was that? Also connected with joy that time. Yeah? Connected with joy. Other words, when you're watching rising and falling and you get bored. Why bored? Because only just rising, falling, rising, falling. No other thing already rising, falling, rising. So fed up with it, just rise and fall, rise and fall, rise and fall, rise and fall. After that, next sitting also rise and fall, rise and fall. Nothing interesting right now. So again here, the boredom comes in, will set in because the mind gets not, is seeing nothing much. No activity, nothing. The mind is not interested in what is going on. Then it goes a lot of thinking and so on. Yeah. So can we do? You know, what can we do with this type of boredom? Uh, when the boredom comes in, it also shows that the effort is already dropping also. The effort also is dropping, and also that time also the joy factor, the pity factor, the joy factor, it's already like also not so strong. So what should we do at this time? There are a few things what we can do when this boredom comes in. Firstly, is like try to notice other objects. Learn to take up secondary objects. Sometimes there are yogis, when the boredom comes in, they do not know how to take up other secondary objects. Because this type of yogi is called rising falling yogi, but not vipassana yogi. Rising falling, because they know how to take up rising falling only. They have to take up rising for everything they don't want to see. They put everything aside, only rising and falling only. When I was beginning to meditate, I also have that attitude. I have that attitude. But after, of course, the teacher begin to change the way how I note things, then begin to pay attention more to the pain, secondary objects, sitting and touching, and so on. And then we change, So some yogis, they come in, then they have this idea that only take up rising and falling and other secondary objects, they are not important. Not important. And because of that, sometimes also, because of this type of understanding that they have, sometimes there are also certain teachers or instructors, they have that idea also. So when they have that idea, then sometimes when they come into reporting or coming into sharing, then the whole instructor will be just the instruction from the instructor or the teacher is to want to hear rising and falling only. Other than that, they don't want to hear. They don't want to hear your pain. Your pain they chỉ cái搞điểm. They don't want to hear your walking meditation. They don't want to hear all other things. They don't want to hear your thinking. They don't want to hear your sleepiness. They are not interested in that. Only rising and falling only. If you come into the reporting, then you just note rising and falling only. 搞了, you can walk out happily already. to them, it's enough already. To them, to the teachers, it's enough already. Actually, like that now, I've seen because of that the way of Mahasi meditation becomes very narrow. And a lot of yogis fall into this category. Sad to say. They only fall into this category, become very narrow. And once that rising and falling, anything affected with the rising and falling, that's it, the whole meditation of Vipassana. That's it, gone. Because they got no other supportive, this one. So many times, I mean, I've been to centers and here and there, people don't really bother about secondary objects, about walking meditation, and about thinking, how to note the thinking, how to note the sleepiness, and so on. They really don't bother about it. They just want to hear your rising and falling. So it creates that idea to the new yogis that this rising and falling is the only thing what Mahasi Sayadaw taught. But that is actually not what Mahasi Sayadaw taught. Mahasi Sayadaw thought there is a primary objects, there is secondary objects. So the thing is that people thought that primary object is the most important, secondary object not important at all. No. Primary object and secondary object, they are equally important. They're equally important in the sense that whenever they are prominent, they are important. That means you must have the skills to learn how to take note of all this, learning how to pay attention to the secondary objects. The skills, let's say for example, the pain, secondary object. If you do not know the skills, you just simply muscle and just go in to take note of the pain, you will fail. Because you don't do your walking meditation properly, you don't do your daily activities properly, and you thought that you just sit down, you can bear up with the pain. Cannot. So the secondary of the skills is not there. Noting, let's say, noting the sleepiness. You don't have the skills how to take note of it. Agitation of the mind. You don't have the skills how to take note of it. Then every time it comes in, the mind get disappointed. Sleepiness comes in, get disappointed because they don't know how to deal with it. Yeah. To me, I emphasize these things. Although I may have to emphasize it, the agitation to take up sometimes 2 or 3 talks. But for you to do it, it takes you maybe just a few seconds only, for you to stop that agitation. My job is done because you know how to do it. Yeah. So I don't mind to spend a little bit longer to talk about it. After all, I got so many other talks to go. So I mean, I still got time. So I don't mind to spend a bit more time. And sometimes I a bit chiong hey, a bit. I repeat myself again and again. So it's good because a lot of us, our brain is all leaking one. But it doesn't matter if you don't remember what I talk. But if that time, if you know how to do it, you will definitely remember it already. How to do it, if you can able to overcome all these things. Only I give you options here and there. So you try here and there, you know what to do, then you overcome your problem. So too, like boredom, also the same thing. The boredom is also the nature of where it's a part of like hindrances also. You come in and the boredom comes in, and we do not know what to do. And this is where again skills come in. This is where secondary objects will be very helpful, or changing of posture can also be helpful, or doing other skillful things can also become very helpful. Say what can we do during the sitting meditation. Let's say the boredom come in. You watch rising and falling and there's nothing much. It's only rising, falling only. So what do? So this time you change to a secondary objects. So the secondary objects here, you let go of the rising and falling. Now you can try to look up where is the most prominent objects, whether it's in the hands or whether in the buttocks, and then just take 3 or 4 area of 3 or 4 spots which is clear to you. Some people also take the whole body sitting, it feels the whole body as a spot or as an area. Touching maybe another one, or sometimes there are thighs that's touching the cushion, can be also another one, or the buttock, the one buttock, the other buttock, another one. If you cannot feel your whole big buttock, just take one. It's also okay, as long as you feel something. The most important thing that you feel something. Then you choose your spots. You choose your area. At that time, let go of rising and falling. Then note, take up the noting. And my way of noting the sitting and touching is that you stay with a spot for a few notings first. Like, for example, if your hands are touching right now, then stay with that touching, 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 4, 5 notings there, or a little bit more, doesn't matter. What is important when you label it at that time? Because now labeling will be important due to the nature of the effort is low. So you bring back the labeling. Make sure that the labeling is there. Note a few times. Pay attention to the sensation. The sensation is where the mindfulness also come in. If you don't pick up sensations, for example, whether it's a hot or whether it's a pressure, sometimes some people notice the finger pressing like that. Okay lah, boleh pun lah, as long something is there, If you can able to notice it, also notice it. Pressure, 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 pressure. Then all you need to do is pick up a few sensations here and there. Even 1 or 2 also can also, Sometimes it can be cold, sometimes it can be sweaty, sometimes whatever. So you pick up while you are labeling it. You pick up the sensation. So after that, move to the next spot. Move to the next spot, and then at the other next spot, pay attention to it 4 or 5 times of noting. Note. Then again, pick up sensation. The sensation may be different from the touching, maybe at the buttock, maybe pressure, maybe hardness, maybe cramp a little bit. Then notice it. Then after that, shift the attention to the next one. Shift attention to the next one, to the next buttock, perhaps. Then again, take note of it. Take note of it. How is it like? How is the pressure and all that thing? Then again, go back again to the touching. Go back again to the touching. Can. If you don't want, then you can do it clockwise for a few times. Then you can do it anti-clockwise for a few times. Also can. Or you can go label it like from the head, take it down all the way to the buttocks, and then you take another of your touching points. Also possible. So sitting. Pay attention to some sensation as you scan through the body. You scan through the body, pay attention to it, then noticing it. This time you keep on pushing the mind. Make sure that the mind is doing some work lah. Because if your boredom is there, it's just like that only. You're not going to do anything. So your job is to make the effort, make it move a little bit, and make it move a little bit, just to arouse the energy. Sometimes when you notice these things, and you begin to discover new objects or new sensations, because you begin to pay attention to it. Because of you able to discover, the mind get interested. Hey, wow, never seen before. Then all the joy come in already. All the interest of noticing come in. Then you see that the energy starts coming in, the boredom starts to fade away. That is one way to notice it. If you are sleepy also, drowsy, this way also is also doing it similarly also. You can do it for sleepiness also, because there's a drop of energy there. Okay, that is one way. Another way is again face the boredom directly. And that one is a bit difficult because that time energy also bo liao, But you can try lah. At one time, beginning of my retreat, first time here, I meditate downstairs. Meditate until sian, really, really boring. So I come up to the shrine hall here, somewhere near that last cushion there, So I was sitting there. Then that time, there's no mosquito netting. This mosquito netting only 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I just made it. So I sat here, sat here. So boring already. I say, no, never mind. I make an effort, because not the bottom. After that, the mosquito come and bite me. So many. After another bite here, not. Another one come, not, bottom, biting, not. Oh, so many things to play. After that, you get up. half an hour only, was mind all clear. No boredom already, but full of bite, full of marks. Yeah. So directly go head to head, face to face to it. So head to face to it, that means you put the effort there, pay attention to it, see how the boredom is changed. Sometimes the boredom is nature like that, very difficult, bear up with it and take note of it. Sometimes if the effort is strong enough, it overcomes the boredom. Every now and then the boredom will definitely come in. Because even then your objects can be quite clear, but the object has no variety. It's just like that only. Like that only. Sometimes or it's just moving like that, then like that, like that, like that. Tomorrow also like that. It's the same thing. It's still the same thing, but that's where the mind gets bored. So if it gets bored a bit, pay attention to the boredom that's coming in. If you can, well and good. It overcomes it, also good. And if cannot, then shift over to secondary objects. All right. Now, let's say that boredom, it can be quite strong. If you cannot handle it, get up and do the walking. Break the whole sitting, get up and do the walking. And when you do the walking, again here, uh, take note of the sensation. Take note of the sensation and take note, or you can take note of the secondary objects. You can take note of the feet if they are clear to you. If it's not so clear, then take note of the secondary objects in the walking meditation. Yeah. Now, during the walking meditation, also there's a lot of boredom because it's noticing the same thing, lifting, pushing, dropping only. There's nothing much to see. For some, at least there'll be times and there's nothing much to see. So this time again here, we take up the secondary objects. We take up the secondary objects. We learn how to pay attention to the secondary objects, like your knees are moving, or ankles are moving, hips are moving, or shoulders are moving, or sometimes even you hold your hands, you hold your palms together. That feels warm and sweaty. Don't go and move the hand up. Stay there first. Feel it first, and pay attention to it. Yeah. Really strict way of walking meditation. Your arms also not supposed to move on, Just stay there. Whole hour you walk, you stay there. Just like you put your leg, whole hour there means there already. But we cannot. We are after like that, like that, like that, put in pocket. We don't realize that we move the hand so much. But nevertheless, you try to be mindful of it. Yeah. But actually, you're not supposed to move the hand that much also, as you keep it steady as much as you can. Yeah. Even it's become unpleasant a little bit. So you pay attention to the secondary objects. As long as your mind shifted out to other objects, it arouses the effort from there, it arouses the interest from there. Then later part, when the mind becomes clear, when you go back to a rising, falling, when you go back to the lifting, pushing, dropping, then more and more sensation you can begin to pick up. Yeah? So there are a number of ways here.